ambition and sexual energies are energies that go together. A lot of people feel that when they want to be ambitious towards something, they have to be very single-minded, they have to cut off all the noise, blah blah. To a degree, that's actually correct, because the more you are giving your energies, the more you're giving your attention to external situations, external factors, you're gonna have an issue, because those things are draining and pulling away at you. I experience it all day long, in so many different ways that it's probably not even feasible to put them down in a bullet point or words. Now, what most people don't understand about sexual energy is that, especially in Western society, people have lost the sacredness or the divineness or the divinity of sexual energies. Basically, they see it as a means to an end, but it's not a means to an end. If somebody is typically ambitious, it would serve them very well to study sexual energy in the modalities of things like Tantra. Why? Because Tantra is almost rejuvenating. Yes, it is. It's sacred sexuality. That's how I would describe it. It is the honoring of something that's very precious, something that people feel so freely to give out like free lunches, when that's not how you're supposed to behave with it. And religion has the right idea in mind. It so happens the way religion goes about it is very oppressive. You know, you're going to hell if you have sex outside marriage. Don't have it, basically. And then you wonder why people go off the rails. They have, you know, such and such a person has raped somebody, or, you know, they found them with children, or weird shit, like just stuff that you can't mentally comprehend. Or, you know, this person turned out this, or they have this fetish or this kink. I'm not saying fetishes or kinks are bad, just there's some stuff that it's like, that's not healthy or normal. What are you doing? So ambition needs to be tied to sexual energy. Let me try and explain this a little bit more. A lot of people maybe want to set a goal for themselves. A goal doesn't necessarily have to be in your professional life. It can be very personal, right? It can be, I want to, I don't know, drop 10 pounds, drop 20 pounds, drop a stone. I don't know. This is me giving examples here, right? So you're gonna find it very difficult to hit and achieve your goals if you don't have sufficient sexual energy, if your sex drive is low, if you don't feel like having sex. This is the reason men can achieve goals faster than women. To a degree, masculine energy, but sexuality. See, we live in a society that celebrates men's sexuality. He slept with 20 women, good, round of applause. A woman does the same thing, nobody wants to look at her. We have the understandable double standards for a reason. I'm not saying it needs to be equal in that respect, and it probably never will be, and that's fine. It's not here for debate, and we're not here to discuss it. The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of people, you know, I have a friend, we've known each other for probably about, good on 11, 12 years, maybe, yeah, roughly about 11, 12 years, roughly. And her and I extensively talk about sexual stuff, like, it's a topic we've discussed over the years, and we've actually helped each other very much, and she's very open about it, and so am I. And it's very much discussing it freely and it being normal. You see, with a lot of people, that topic is not normal. You can discuss everything under the sun, but there are the two root chakra topics that people find very difficult to discuss due to shame. One is money and one is sex, okay? Money, people will still be like, whatever. They might try and contribute sex. It's like, fuck this, it's off the table. Because it's private, it's shameful, and the issue is that so many people have issues sexually. They don't want to talk about this stuff. It's like, I feel ashamed. Well, you know, you're gonna have to put that shame aside and go to someone. Go to like a licensed physician, go to a doctor, go to a sexologist. You're gonna have to talk about it, because when it comes to ambition, if your sex drive is crippled, if you have something wrong in the sexual sphere, guaranteed 11 times out of 10 it's going to affect your goals. I have this conversation with my clients. Some of them welcome the conversation, some of them it's like, Like they're not sure how to actually behave with me having that conversation with them, because it's like no one's ever had this conversation, and where is it going? And then I still remember, of course, I'm making a video. I see a plane. I'm just used to this by this point. You can probably hear it in the background too as well. And so many people find that I want to get to whatever next level. Next level doesn't mean excuse me, that you have to climb a corporate ladder, or you have to make X amount in your business, or you have to date 3 people. It doesn't mean all that. It means wherever you're at, you just want to either keep going higher or keep going deeper. So a lot of people, as I've said, they want to build upwards into the light, but realistically, you want to build it. You don't want to build upwards into the light. You want to deconstruct everything, go down, 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 down into the elevator, go down as much as possible, and to really clear everything that's there. A large part of that is sexuality. A large part, this is the reason people fear doing that work, because it's gonna come to a point where they have to face excuse me, what's going on. The weather's changed a lot, so my throat has been, I'm just trying to clear it as I speak, and even clearing my throat as I'm speaking this, it tells me so many people have blocks in the throat to speak about their issues. It's not easy to talk about sexual issues because there's so much shame around it. So many people have been raped. So many people have been molested. So many people have been defiled. So many people have been touched inappropriately. So men and women, this is not just a woman issue. So many people have gone through it, that so many women are expecting a man to have a healthy, normal, heterosexual relationship with them, and I'm like, it's not possible. The man has been sexually damaged when he was younger. He was a child. Something happened. And he's repressed it, because a lot of people, they don't have the courage to face what's happened. You have to face it. If you have slept with a narcissist, you have been raped. Plain and simple. I say this to people. You need to accept it in yourself. You need to accept, like, you don't beat around the bush. A lot of people think things like sexual assault and rape is, literally a man forcing it on you. No. Anything where it's not consensual, it doesn't feel good, it's rape. People don't want to hear that. Oh my God. But this is the problem. You can't get to that next level until you're honest. The thing is that a lot of people are not honest with themselves. You can't expect honesty from a person if they're not honest with themselves. Ambition requires you to look at the sexual slant. Ambition requires you to study things like I've said, Tantra. It requires you to have these open-minded conversations with people, not in a sleazy way, not in a dirty way, not in a seedy way. I'm not talking about that. It's being very free-flowing and open about the sexuality conversation, because until and unless you have that conversation and you are comfortable in those energies, there is a part of you that you might be very successful to the outside world, but there'll still be something missing inside. And that missing is sexuality. Why do I say that? Because sex is life and life is sex. Our life starts from sex, basically, And with most people, I've always wondered, why is their energy so dull? I'm not talking about what's going on in the world. That's just an addition. What's actually wrong? And the short answer is their sex drive is 0. When you have a healthy sex drive, you look healthy, you look radiant, there's vitality, man or woman, in your face. Men have virility, women have radiance and femininity. It's because the energy is flowing from the crown point right down to the root, and vice versa. And when you have sex with somebody, it's flowing. The energy needs to flow. And when that energy in any station of the chakra gets blocked up, that's when you're going to have serious issues. People shy away from it because, if you talk about pleasure to people, right, what's the first thing? They're going to get choked up because they don't know themselves. They're not into knowing themselves that way. And then what happens, right? If you don't know yourself that way, whatever it is backed up is going to have to come out some way. You're going to have perversions. You're going to have people that, go like way left religious, like this, that, whatever it is. Like, it's what I said, that religion had the right idea in mind. It's just, it's used as a tool for oppression. It's used as a tool of control, basically. I understand and I agree with what religion says about sex in terms of it should be something special, but they put all the shame. They have the nice pizza and then they ruin it by throwing, veggies that have mold on it or something. It's just disgusting, and it's like you just ruin everything. Ambition is a large part of it, is connected to, like I said, practices such as Tantra, practices whereby you can go deeper within the spirit. Because ambition is something that often cuts you from spirit. It cuts you from people. You become more Machiavellian, you become more ruthless with people, and to a degree that's very important. But even when you go into those rooms, if you have enough sufficient sexual energy, it reminds me of a very good salesman I used to know. This guy would literally sell everything. People would watch all his stuff. Why? Because he was very sexual. That's the thing. And his sexuality was not cringy. It was not weird. He didn't come on to women like in a bizarre way. He was just very much in that flow. And that flow is part of self-care, and that flow is part of where you need to now head towards and really do deconstruct that work around there. Because when you're comfortable with your sexual energies, you're comfortable with literally everything else. You're comfortable, of course, with money. You're comfortable with how you present yourself to people, because there's always this like erotic charm that you have, and that's very important. People think that, oh, that's not who I am, because mentally they're always thinking, ew, it's dirty, ew, I don't want to be inappropriate. There's always something very inappropriate about that stuff, and the point is, it doesn't have to be inappropriate. It ties into ambition very strongly. Where there's ambition, there's always sexual energy, and of course, where there's sexual energy, there's always jealousy as well, because of that pull, that allure, that enchantment, so to speak. So whatever goals or whatever you have working at the moment, really, really start to look at that. What is it I can do to tie my sexual energy to it? Because when you've tied your sexual energy to your ambitious purposes, it becomes very easy to manifest them.